Hello, partner. Again, I am here for you, taking a learning and fluency challenge of 100 days. Yesterday, we have completed our chapter 3rd. Now, we will begin chapter 3. No, chapter 4. Apology. Before starting, I would again request if you really want to make confident yourself, please um, cooperate with me and make a community. For the same, please message me on committee number 98739767739. I will provide the same number in description box as well. So, chapter 4, the man who didn't look right. The psychologist Gary Ken once told me a story about a woman who attended a family gathering. She had spent years working as a paramedic and upon arriving at the event took one look at her father-in-law and got very concerned. "I don't like the way you look," she said. Her father-in-law, who was feeling perfectly fine, joking, replied, "Well, I don't like your looks either." "No," she insisted, "you need to go to the hospital now." When major uh, arteries are obstructed, the body focuses on sending blood to critical organs and away from peripheral location near the surface of the skin. The result is a change in the pattern of distribution of blood in the face. After many years of working with people heart failure, the woman had unknowingly developed the ability to recognize the pattern on sight. She couldn't explain what it was that she noticed in her father-in-law's face, but she knew something was wrong. Similar stories exist in other fields. For example, military analysts can identify which build on a radar screen is an enemy missile and which one is a plane from their own fleet, even though they are traveling at the same speed, flying at the same altitude, and looking identical on radar in nearly every respect. During the Gulf War, Lieutenant Commander Michel Riley saved an entire battleship when he ordered a missile shot down. A museum curators have been known to discern the difference between an authentic piece of art and an expertly produced counterfeit, even though they can't tell you precisely which details tip them off. Experience. Radiologist can look at a brain scan and predict the area where a stroke will develop before any obvious signs are visible to the untrained eye. With enough practice, you can pick up one on the cues that predict a certain outcome without consciously thinking about it. Automatically, your brain encodes the lesson learned through experience. We can't always explain what it is we are learning, but learning is happening all along the way, and your ability to notice the relevant cues in a given situation is the foundation for every habit you have. Consider hunger. How do you know when you are hungry? You don't necessarily have to see a cookie on the counter to realize that it is time to eat. Appetite and hunger are governed non-consciously. Your body has a variety of feedback loops that gradually alert you when it is time to eat again, and that track what is going on around you and within you. Craving can arise thanks to hormones and chemicals. circulating through your body. Suddenly you are hungry even though you are not quite sure what tipped you off. This is long one of the most surprising insights about our habits. You don't need to be aware of the cue for a habit to begin. You can notice an opportunity and take action without dedicating consciousness attention to it. This is what makes habit useful. It's also what makes them dangerous. As habit form, your actions come under the direction of your automatic and non-conscious mind. You fall into old patterns before you realize what's happening unless someone points it out. You may not notice that you cover your mouth with your hand whenever you laugh, that you apologize before asking a question, or that you have a habit to finishing other people's sentences. And the more you repeat these patterns, the less likely you become to question what you are doing and you are doing it. Next, another woman I came across in my research was a former preschool teacher who had switched to a corporate job. Even though she was now working with adults, her old habits would kick in and she kept asking co-workers if they had washed their hand after going to the bathroom. I also found the story of a man who had spent years working as a lifeguard and would occasionally yell walk whenever he saw a child running. Before we can effectively build new habits, we need to get a handle on our current ones. This can be more challenging than it sounds because once a habit is firmly rooted in your life, it is mostly non-conscious and automatic. If a habit remains mindless, you can't expect to improve it. As a psychologist called Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it faith. Um, Heading the habit scorecard. The Japanese railway system is regarded as one of the best in the world. If you ever find yourself riding a train in Tokyo, you will notice that the conductors have a peculiar habit. As each operator runs the train, they proceed through a ritual of pointing at different objects and calling out commands. When the train approaches a signal, the operator will point at it and say, signal is green. As the trains pull into and out of each station, the operator will point at the speedometer and call out the exact speed. When it's time to leave, the operator will point at the timetable and state the time. Out on the platform, our employees are performing similar actions. This process, known as pointing and calling, is a safety system designed to reduce mistakes. It seems silly, but it works incredibly well. A pointing and calling reduce error by up to 85% and cuts accidents by 30%. The MTA subway system in New York City adopted a modified version that is point only, and within 2 years of implementation, incidents of incorrectly berthed subway fell 57%. The more automatic a behavior becomes, the less likely we are to consciously think about it. And when we have done uh, something a thousand times before we begin to overlook things, we assume that the next time will be just like the last. We are so used to doing what we have always done that we don't stop to question whether it's the right thing to do at all. Many of our failures in performance are largely attributable to a lack of self-awareness. One of our greatest challenges in challenging is maintaining awareness of what we are actually doing. This helps explain why the consequences of bad habits can sneak upon us. We need a point and call system for our personal life. That's the origin of the habit scorecard, which is a simple exercise you can use to become more aware of your behavior, to create your own and make a list of your daily habits. The marks you give to a particular habit will depend on your situations and your goals. For someone who is trying to lose weight, eating a bagel with peanut butter every morning might be a bad habit. For someone who is trying to bulk up and add muscle, the same behavior might be a good habit. It all depends on what you are working towards. If you are still having trouble determining how to rate a particular habit, here is a question I like to use. Does this behavior help me become the type of person I wish to be? Does this habit cast a vote for or against my desired identity? Habits that reinforce your desired identity are usually good. Habits that conflict with your desired identity are usually bad. As you create your habit scorecard, there is no need to change anything at first. The goal is to simply notice what is actually going on. Observe your thoughts and action without judgment or internal criticism. Don't blame yourself for your faults. Don't praise yourself for your success. The first step to changing bad habits is to be on the lookup them. If you feel like you need extra help, then you can try pointing and calling in your own life. Say out loud the action that you are thinking of taking and what the outcome will be. If you want to cut back on your junk food habit but notice yourself grabbing another cookie, say out loud, I am about to eat this cookie, but I don't need it. Eating it will cause me to gain weight and hurt me, my health. The process of behavior change always starts with awareness. Strategies like pointing and calling and the habit scorecard and focus on getting you to recognize your habits and acknowledge and cues that trigger them, which makes it possible to respond in a way that benefits you. So, this was chapter 4. Now, uh, summary of the chapter. There are 5 points. First point, with enough practice, your brain will pick up on the cues that predict certain outcomes without consciously thinking about it. Second, once our habit become automatic, we stop paying attention to what we are doing. Third, the process of behavior change always starts with awareness. You need to be aware of your habits before you can change them. Fourth one, pointing and calling raise your level of awareness from a non-conscious habit to a more conscious level by verbalizing your action. Fifth and last point is the habit scorecard is a simple exercise you can use to become more aware of your behavior. So this was end of the chapter 4. Now I realized that chapter 4 was a bit smaller. Then I decided to start same day a chapter 5 again. So please be focused on 15 to 20 minutes more. So here is chapter 5. The best way to start a new habit. Please comment guys what I need to improve in my fluency and my pronunciation. I'm really trying hard. Before I come in front of you, I really work twice or three times this chapter. Then I come for make video. So please like, subscribe, and comment. Although I have requested to you, if you do not want to like and subscribe, no worry. But please comment. Okay. So chapter 5, the best way to start a new habit. In 2001, researchers in Great Britain began working with 248 people to build better exercise habits over the course of 2 weeks. The subjects were divided into three groups. The first group was the control group. They were simply asked to track how often they exercise. The second group was the motivation group. They were asked not only to track their workout but also to read some material on the benefits of exercise. The researchers also explained to the group how exercise could reduce the risk of coronary heart disease and improve heart health. Finally, there was the third group. These subjects received the same presentations as the second group, which ensured that they had equal level of motivation. However, they were also asked to formulate a plan for when and where they would exercise over the following week. Especially, specifically, each a member of the third group completed the following sentences during the next week. I will I will partake in at least 20 minutes of vigorous exercise on day at time and place. In the first and second group, 35 to 38% of people exercised at least once per week, but 91% of the third group exercised at least 1% more, one once per week more than double the normal rate. The cues that can trigger a habit come in a wide range of forms. The feel of your phone buzzing in your pocket, the smell of chocolate chip cookies, the sound of ambulance sirens, but the two most common cues are time and location. Implementation intentions leverage both of these cues. Researchers have even found that turnout increase when people are forced to create implementation intentions by answering questions like what routes are you talking to take? Are you taking to the polling station? At what time you are planning to go? What bus will you take to take? What bus will you get you there? Other successful government programs have promoted citizens to make a clear plan to send taxes in on time or provided direction on when and where to pay late traffic bills. The punchline is clear. People who make a specific plans for when and where they will perform a new habit are more likely to follow through. Too many people try to change their habits, work without these basic details figured out. We tell ourselves, I am going to eat healthier or I am going to write more, but we never say when and where these habits are going to happen. We leave it up to chance and hope that we will just remember to do it or feel motivated at the right time. And implementation intention sweep away foggy notions like I want to work out more or I want to be more productive or I should vote and transform them into concerned plan of action. Once an implementation intention had been set, you don't have to wait for inspirations to strike. Do I write a chapter today or not? Do I meditate this morning or at lunch? When the moment of action occurs, there is no need to make a decision. Simply follow your predetermined plan. If you are not sure when to start your habit, try the first day of the week, month, or year. People are more likely to take action at those times because hope is usually higher. If we have hope, we have a reason to take action. A fresh start feels motivation. Give your habits a time and a space to live in the world. The goal is to make the time and location so obvious that with enough repetition you get an urge to do the right thing at the right time, even if you can't say why. As the writer Jason Jig noted, obviously you are never going to just work or without conscious thought, but like a dog salivating at a bell, maybe you start a get antsy around the time of day you normally work out. There are many ways to use implementation intentions in your life and work. My favorite approach is one I learned from Stanford professor BJ Fogg, and it is a strategy I refer to as habit staking. So, what is habit staking? Habit staking, a simple plan to overhaul your habits. The French philosopher Denis Diderot lived nearly his entire life in poverty, but that challenge one day in 1765. And Detroit Scalar's robe was beautiful, so beautiful in fact that we immediately noticed how out of place it seems when surrounded by his more common possessions. He wrote that there was no more coordination, no more unity, no more beauty between his elegant robe and the rest of his stuff. Detroit soon felt the urge to upgrade his possessions. He replaced his urge with a one from Damascus. He decorated his home with expressive sculptures. He bought a mirror to place above the mantel and a better kitchen table. He tossed aside his old straw chair for a leather one, like falling a domino. The purchase led to the next. You can spot this pattern everywhere. You buy a dress and have to get new shoes and earning to match. You buy a couch and suddenly question the layout of your entire living room. You may you buy a toy for your child and soon finding yourself purchasing all the accessories that go with it. It's a chain reaction of purchase. Many human behavior follow this cycle. You often decide what to do next based on what you have just finished doing. Going to the bathroom leads to washing and drying your hands, which reminds you that you need to put the dirty towels in the laundry. So you add laundry detergent to the shopping list and so on. No behavior happens in isolation. Each actions become a cue that triggers the next behavior. Why is it important? So there is a habit stacking figure. You can take a screenshot and figure out it. I'll jump up for the next. Yeah. You can also insert new behavior into the middle of your current routine. For example, you may already have a morning routine that looks like this or wake up, make my bed, take a shower, let you say want to develop and a habit of reading more each night. Overall, habit stacking allows you to create a set of simple rules that guide your future behavior. It's like you always have a game plan for which action should come next. Once you get comfortable with this approach, you can develop general habit stacks to guide you whenever the situation is appropriate. No matter how you use this strategy, the secret of creating a successful habit stack is selecting the right cue to kick things off. Unlike an implementation intentions, which specifically state the time and location for a given behavior, habit stacking implicitly has the time and location built into it. When and where you choose to insert a habit into your daily routine can make a big difference. If you are trying to add meditation into your morning routine, but mornings are chaotic and your kids keep running into the room, then that may be the wrong place and time considered when you are most likely to be successful. Do not ask yourself to do a habit when you are likely to be occupied with something else. One way to find the right trigger for your habit stack is by brainstorming is a list of your current habits. You can use your habit score uh, card from the last chapter and the starting point. Alternatively, you can create a list with two columns. In the first column, write down the habits you do each day without fail. Um, the first law of behavior change is to make it obvious strategies like implementation, intention, and habit stacking are among the most practical ways to create obvious cues for your habits and design a clear plan for when and where to take action. So, this was the end of chapter 5, and here are the summary of this chapter. There are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 uh, summary, 7 points of the summary. First, the first law of behavior changes is make it obvious. Second, the two most common cues are time and location. Third, creating an implementation intention is a strategy you can use to or pair a new habit or with a specific time and location. I guess it's a third. So, fourth, the implementation intention formula is I will means behavior at time in location. Fifth, habit stacking is a strategy you can use to pair a new habit with a current habit. The last one and sixth is the habit stacking formula is after current habit I will new habit. So here is the end of chapter fifth. So not fifth is fourth or fifth. So we will meet tomorrow again for the new chapter with this fantastic book Atomic Habits. And again, I would like to request you, please comment me and uh, make a community to message you on my WhatsApp number. A number is 98739 76739. Good night.